Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making the tutorial for this beautiful unisex hat. It is a step-by-step tutorial video, so it is beginner friendly, and as you can see in the video, I've played with a lot of colors because I've enjoyed making this hat. I used the single crochet stitch on this one, so without further ado, let us get into the tutorial. Okay, so for this project, these are the materials that you are going to need. I had to bring this here today because I want you guys to be a part of the entire process, okay? So the reason why I brought this is because we are going to be putting these 3 strands together. One of these happened to be a 2-ply, and when I made the last one, I literally used 6 plies. So in order to create the 6 plies, I'm going to be putting 3 of these strands together. That's why you see the 3 balls here. Each of these balls is actually 50 grams. So I'm going to be joining it together. Since it's 2-ply, the 3 is going to be 6 plies in total. Okay, so I'm going to be using the 6-ply wool, and I'm going to be doing it with the yarn winder. Don't worry, you're going to be part of the process. All right, so you're going to need your measurement tape, of course. You're going to need a tapestry needle, stitch markers, and you're going to need a scissors. And on this one, I'm going to be working with a 5mm hook size. You know, it's a 6-ply, so you need a bigger hook size, but you can use any one that is comfortable for you. All right, but I'm going with the 5mm hook size. So let's go on making our 6-ply with our 2-ply yarns with the yarn winder. All right, let's get into that. All right, so to start on making our 2-ply yarn into a 6-ply, we are just going to put our yarn winder on the table just like this, and you are going to lock it in. Make sure that one is tight, and you're going to put this one on top just like this. Roll it in, and now you are going to be taking the yarn. So as you can see, like I explained to you, one of this is a 2-ply, so I want a 6-ply on this project. So I'm going to be putting 3 together, 3 strands together now to make my 6-ply. So all I just need to do now is put it past this hook right here on the yarn winder, and I'm going to plug it on here. Please just watch what I'm doing. Okay, so I'll just put it on this part, and then I start winding. So it's just as easy as this. This is how I create the 6-ply. So if I want a 4-ply, which is the one I normally use for the tutorials that I use, I just put 2 strands together. But this one, I just want it a little bit bulkier. I want it fuller. So that's why I'm going with the 3 strands. So in order for my work to be neat, I had to get the winder to be doing this. I just want you guys to be part of this process. It's actually fun doing this. When I do it, I so enjoy doing this. That is my little secret. Okay, I think we can actually start with this one now. I'm just going to cut the excesses, and I'm going to be removing it from here. This is the foam part because you see how it looks so beautiful. Yeah, yes, so this is how it looks. So cute. It's like a candy. All right, so now that we have our 6-ply ready, let us get into the main tutorial now. Okay, so to start on this hat, you are going to make a magic ring. And on this magic ring, you are going to put in 6 single crochet. All right, so you are going to chain up 1, and then you go in with a single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, then you're going to close the magic ring up just like that. So on this project, we are not going to be doing slip stitches. Okay, so now to begin the row 2, you're just going to go into the very first stitch right here, and you're going to do a single crochet to begin the next row. All right, so now you are going to be marking this first stitch now with your stitch marker, because this is very important. Since you are not doing the slip stitches, this is what is going to make you know that this is the very beginning. Okay, so on this same stitch, you're going to put another single crochet, which is 2 single crochet in that first stitch. Okay, so now on the next stitch, you're going to go in with 2 single crochets again, just like that. And on the next stitch, you're going to go in with 2 single crochets. So on this row 2, this is exactly what you're just going to do. You're going to be putting in 2 single crochets on each of the stitches all around. And make sure you're counting your stitches as you go, because it must be equal. Okay, so now we are supposed to have 12 stitches all around for the row 2. So as you can see now, we've gotten to the very beginning where our stitch marker is. So now to start on the row 3, you are not going to be doing any slip stitch. You are just going to go into this place now. That happens to be our first stitch. You are going to go in there with 2 single crochets. 1, and make sure you mark this very first stitch just like this. And on that same stitch, you're going to go in with another single crochet. That's 2 on that stitch. And now on the next stitch, you're just going to go in with 1 single crochet. And then on the next, you're going to go in with 2 single crochets. So on this particular row now, the count is going to be 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Okay, so that's 1, and on the next stitch, you're going to go in with 2. So continue doing that until you get to the stitch marker again, and when I get here, I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so I've gotten to where the stitch marker is. So since we started with 2 in the beginning, we are supposed to end with 1. So the last stitch here now, you are going to go in with just 1 single crochet. So to begin the row 4 now, you are going to remove the stitch marker, and then you are going to go in the stitch with just 1 single crochet, and then make sure you put back your stitch marker on that stitch. And on the next stitch, you're going to go in with 1 single crochet. And on the next stitch, you're going to go in with 2 single crochet. So the count for this one is 1, 1, 2. So this row now is getting 1, 1, 2. So that's 1, and on the next stitch you put in 1, and on the next stitch you put in 2. So that is the step you are going to follow for this row, 1, 1, 2, until you get to the stitch marker. And when I get here, I'll come back to tell you what we're going to be doing next. Okay? Okay, so I've gotten to where the stitch marker is again, and I'm just going to remove the stitch marker. And on this stitch where the stitch marker is now, you are going to go in with 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and do not forget to mark the very first stitch on this part here so you know where you are. Okay. So now you are going to be going in with 1 single crochet on the next stitch. On the next stitch, get 1 single crochet, and the next gets 1 single crochet. So this count is going to be 2 1 1 1. Okay, 2 1 1 1. So now on the next stitch we are going to be putting in 2, 1 and 2 on that same stitch. So now we go again with 1 1 1. All right, 1 1 1, and on the next stitch we're going to go in with 2, 1 and 2. So this is the step you are going to follow for this row until you get to the stitch marker, and when you get here I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. All right, okay, so I'm at the stitch marker again. So on this row there's going to be a little bit of tweak. All right, so just watch carefully. All right, so on where the stitch marker is now, you're going to remove it, and you're going to go in with just 1 single crochet on that stitch. Okay, and just mark it. Okay, and on the next stitch you're just going to go in with 1 single crochet. And now on this next stitch, which is the 3rd stitch, you're going to go in with 2 single crochet on that same stitch. All right, so now you are going to go in with 4 single crochets on 4 stitches. So that's 1, and on the next stitch 1, and on the next stitch 1, and on the next stitch 1. That is 4. And now on the next stitch you are going to go in with 2 single crochets on that very stitch. All right, so now you are just going to continue putting 4 and then 2. So that's 1 2 3 4, and then on the next stitch you are just going to go in with 2 on that same stitch. So that is going to be the count for this particular row: 4 and 2, 4 and 2. All right, the reason why we started with the 1 1 each on this first stitch is so we do not get like a diamond shape, because if you follow just putting in round just like the normal hats, you start getting like diamond shaped. But what we are going for is a round hat. All right, so just continue on this row now: 4 and 2, 4 and 2, 4 and 2, and when you get here I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay. Okay, so I'm at the end here now where the stitch marker is. So as you can see, we only have 2 stitches left after putting the last 2. You remember we started with just 1 1 here, so the ending here happens to be 1 1 as well. So that is the exact count. That's 1 1 1 into 4 places and then 2. Okay, so that's the little tweak I told you about. All right, so now to start on the next row, we're just going to remove the stitch marker from here, and on this stitch now where the stitch marker was, you are going to go in with just 1 single crochet, and then you're going to put back your stitch marker. Okay, and now on the next 3 stitches you're just going to be going in with 1 single crochet on each of the stitches. 4. Okay, so now the next stitch gets 2 single crochet. 1 and then 2. All right, so from here on now, we put in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2. So now we are going to be going with 5 single crochet on each of the stitches. So this count now is going to be 5 and 2, 5 and 2, but the beginning only gets 4 and 2. All right, just watch carefully and listen carefully because this is a little bit tricky. All right, so now we are going to be going with 5 single crochet on 5 different stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now on the next stitch, you're going to go in with 2 single crochets. All right, so this row is going to be 5 and 2, 5 and 2. And when we get to the stitch marker, I'll come back to show you what you're going to be doing next, okay? Okay, so I'm where the stitch marker is now. See, after putting my last 2, as you can see, I have just 1 stitch left. Don't forget, we started with 4. So plus this 1 now gives us 5. So as you can see, the count is still correct, but it's just that we are mixing it up so we get the round shape that we want. Okay, so now to start on the next row, we're just going to remove the stitch marker from here. All right, so on the next 6 stitches now, you're going to be putting in 1 single crochet on each stitch. All right, so starting with this one where the stitch marker is, that's 1, and just put back the stitch marker. Let's change this one. Okay, so that's 1, and now 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now on the next stitch, after getting your 6, you are going to go in with 2 single crochet on that same stitch. So that's 1 and that's 2. So the count for this one now is going to be 6 and 2, 6 and 2. Okay, so I'm back to where the stitch marker is now, and I'm just going to remove the stitch marker to begin the next row. So to begin this row now, on this stitch where the stitch marker is, you are going to go in with 2 single crochets on that same stitch. And don't forget to put in your stitch marker right here so you do not forget where you begin. All right. So now this count is going to be 7 and 2. So now that we've started with 2, we are going to go in with 7 single crochets on 7 different stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And on the next stitch now, we are going to be going in with 2 single crochets on that same stitch. All right, so 1 and 2. So continue doing this one now for this row, 7 and 2, 7 and 2, until you get to the stitch marker, and I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row 9 now, and to start on the row 10, we're just going to remove our stitch marker. Our little trick game is back again on this row. So now on this stitch now where the stitch marker was, you're going to go in with just 1 single crochet on that stitch, and then you're going to put in your stitch marker. Okay, and then on the next stitch, you're just going to go in with 1 single crochet. Okay, and on the next, you are going to be going in now with 2 single crochet on that stitch. Okay, and then In the next 8 stitches, you're just going to be going in with 1 single crochet. Okay? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So on the next stitch now, you're going to go in with 2 single crochet on that same stitch. So this count now is going to be 8 and 2, 8 and 2. So that's what you're going to do for this row until you get to this stitch marker here, and I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay? Okay, so I'm at the end of the row 10. Let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Yeah, I'm at the end of the row 10. So I ended with 6 single crochet to complete this 2 that we started with. Okay, so like I told you, the count is always the same thing. It's just we are trying to mix it up to get the round shape. All right, so now to start on the next row, you're just going to remove the stitch marker right here. And on the next 4 stitches now, you're going to be putting in 4, which is 1 single crochet on each of the stitches into 4 places. So this is 1, and make sure you put your stitch marker there. And on the next stitch, you're going with another 1. And on the next stitch, you're going with another 1, that's 3. And on the next stitch, you're going with another 1, that's 4. Okay, so now on the next stitch, you are going to go in with 2 single crochet on that same stitch. 1 and 2. Okay, so now you are going to go into 9 stitches with 9 single crochet. Okay, so the count for this one is going to be 9 and 2, 9 and 2. So after putting in your 4 single crochets, then 2 single crochet on 1 stitch. So now you are going to go in with 9 single crochets on 9 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So on the next stitch now, you're going to go in with 2 single crochet on that same stitch. So this is the pattern you're going to follow for this row. 9 and 2, 9 and 2 all around until you get here. And when I get here, I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay? Okay, so I'm at the end of row 11. So to start on the row 12 now, we're just going to remove our stitch marker. And before I continue, let me just put it out there. If you do not have this stitch marker, you do not have to worry about that. You can use a hair clip or maybe a strand of a yarn. You just need something to hold the stitch down to make sure that this place is where you're coming back to. It doesn't have to be this particular kind of stitch marker. Okay, all right then. So now to start on the row 12 now, you are going to put in 1 single crochet on that place we just removed the stitch marker, and then you're going to mark it. So on the next 6 stitch, you are going to be putting in 1 single crochet. So this one here now is 1, so 5 more single crochet on 5 stitches. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And on the next stitch now, you are going to be putting in 2 single crochet on that same stitch. Okay, so now on the next 10 stitches, you are going to be putting in 1 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And on the next stitch now, you're going to be putting in 2 single crochet on that same stitch. So this count now is going to be 10 and 2, 10 and 2. So that is what you're going to follow for this row 12 now until you get to the stitch marker, and I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay? Okay, so I'm at the end of the row 12 now. So to start on the row 13, just remove the stitch marker. You are going to be putting 2 single crochet on this same stitch. As 1 and 2. Don't forget to mark the beginning stitch. Okay, so now you are going to be putting 11 single crochets on 11 stitches. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And on the 12th stitch now, you are going to go in with 2 single crochets on that same stitch. So on this row now, on this 13th row, the count is going to be 2, 11, 2, 2, 11, 2. So that's what you do all around until you get to this stitch marker, and I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay? Okay, so I'm at the end of the row 13 now. So this is where I'm going to be stopping the increases. I'm not going to be doing any more increase. So now I have exactly 7 inches for the top of the hat. So this is where I'm stopping. But if you know you want your own bigger than this one, you can actually just go ahead to add more rows following the pattern that I've been showing you. All right, so the next step now is just making single crochet all across without increase. Okay, so now to start on that, you're just going to remove the stitch marker from here. Okay, this one is broken. All right, so on that stitch now, you're just going to go in with 1 single crochet. I'm just going to take another stitch marker and mark it here. So you are just going to go ahead now to keep creating 1 single crochet on each of the stitches all around until you get to row 30. Okay, so when you get to row 30, I will come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, and remember, no increase at all. All right, just 1 single crochet on each of the stitches all around. Okay. Okay, so I'm done with the body of the hats, and this is how it's looking. So as you can see, I had to put 2 rows of the mixture of whites because just the plain color is becoming too boring for me. So I had to add my aesthetics. So the way I got this, I mixed 2 of the white color plus 1 of the green color. So that's what gave me this. All right. But I'm just going to be putting in 2 rows of that to end the brim and to end the body of the hats. All right, so now we are going to go into making the brim of the hats. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change back to the all green colors. Let me bring this down so you can see what I'm doing clearly. So in order to change the color now back to the green one, you have to remove the stitch marker just like this and go into that space. So instead of taking this one now, you're going to bring the color that you want to switch into, and that is what you're going to bring out from there, just like that. and you're going to make a single crochet with that color by yarning over and just bringing out the two, just like that. And then you're going to tie it just to secure it. And then cut off the previous yarn. But this will only happen if you are doing this design here. You can go ahead to just do one free color. Me, I just don't like the work being just one color all the way down. That's why I had to do that. Okay, so it's your choice to actually do what you like. All right, so now that we have the first one on this part where the stitch marker is, we're just going to put our stitch marker back to mark there. And do not forget, this is the brim we're about to start working on now. So this is our beginning stitch. So on that same stitch, we are going to be starting the increase for the brim now. You are going to go in there with another single crochet to make it 2 single crochet on that same stitch. And now on the next 5 stitches, you're just going to be going in with 1 single crochet on each of the stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And on the 6th stitch, which is the very next stitch right here, you're going to go in with 2 single crochet on that same stitch. All right, so the increase has started from here. We are starting the brim now, like I told you. So you are going to go into the next 5 stitches again with single crochet on each stitch. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you are going to do another increase, which is 2 on this same stitch. So the count for this first row for the brim is going to be 5 and 2, 5 and 2. So you go ahead now to walk all around until you get to the stitch marker. When you get to the stitch marker, I'll come back to tell you what we are going to be doing next. Okay? Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the row 1 for the brim now, and this is how it's looking. But before we go into the row 2, I forgot to mention, I ended up putting in 29 rows on the body of the hats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 rows. Okay, so because that is what gave me the inches I was going for, because I wanted the from the top to the body before the brim, I want it to be 7 inches. So from the top now to this part, as you can see, it gave me exactly 7 inches. That's why I had to stop at 29. But my advice for you is for you to be putting it on top of your head to make sure that is the length that you want before you start on the brim. All right, because like I said, the different yarn size and the different hook size can determine the sizes of the head. That is why this measurement tape is always important for you to see. Okay, so the measurement I use for this one now, let me repeat it again. The top of the hat I made 7 inches, and then from the top to the body of the hat, when you put it down like this to the end of the body of the hat, give me exactly 7 inches. Okay, so that is my own measurements. All right, so you cannot use the amount of rows to actually determine sometimes, because your crocheting might be loose, your crocheting might be tight. So just take note of all these little details and always use your measurement tape. Okay, so I had to revisit that before we continue. So now, to get into the row 2 for the brim, you're just going to remove the stitch marker right here. And now we are going to be going in with just 1 single crochet on this stitch. And then we are going to put back our stitch marker. Okay, so on this second row we are just going to be putting in 1 single crochet all across. There is no increase on the second and the third row. Okay, so you go ahead now to just keep putting in 1 single crochet all around. When you get to this place, you come back again and do exactly the same thing. So for row 2 and row 3, there are no increases at all. Just go on and put in 1 single crochet all across, and I'll come back to tell you what we are going to be doing for row 4. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the row 3 now, and this is how it's looking. So now to start on the row 4 is going to be an increase row. Okay, so you're just going to remove the stitch marker, and on this row 4 now you are going to be starting with 2 single crochet on the very first stitch. Okay, so this is a stitch where we remove the stitch marker, which is our very first stitch. You are going to go in there with 2 single crochet on that same stitch, and don't forget to mark your very first stitch. Okay, so the next 6 now is going to get just 1 single crochet on each stitch. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So on the next stitch now, which is the 7th stitch, you are going to go in there with 2 single crochet on that same stitch. So this count now for row 4 is going to be 2, 6, and 2. 2, 6, and 2. So you go ahead now to finish this row 2, 6, and 2, and when you get here, I'll come back to tell you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm at the end now of the row 4. So to start on the row 5, we're just going to remove our stitch marker right here, and now you are just going to put in 1 single crochet on that stitch, just like that, and then mark it. So on this row 5 now, we are not going to be doing any more increase. Okay, so you are just going to be putting in 1 single crochet on each of the stitches for the next 3 rows. Okay, no more increase, just be going in with 1 single crochet on each stitch for the next 3 rows. And when I get my next 3 rows, I'm going to come back to tell you what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the 3rd row without increase. So altogether now for the brim, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. So this is where I'm going to be ending my own. But if you know you want your own brim to be longer, you can just keep adding more rows to it. All right, so for me, this is where I'm going to be stopping my own. Okay, so to end it now, you just have to remove your stitch marker from this place, and then you're going to go into that very first stitch and make a single crochet. Then on the very next stitch, you are going to make a slip knot to end the row. Okay, and then you are going to chain up 1 and then cut off the yarn and then drag it out to tie. So this is how you end it. All right, so this is the hat. All right, don't mind this color. It is a unisex hat, like I've explained to you before, so you can try it out with different colors. Me, I've tried it out with a whole lot of colors. All right, so here are some of the colors that I've done. With this one, I mixed 2 orange colors and 1 cream. That is how I got this one. Then this one is just the cream. Then I mixed it with the brown color, just giving it its own swag. Then this one, I played with just 1 color. So this one is just all black. And as you can see, this one, I had to play with the color at the bottom of the brim just to end it here. All right, then now this is the one we just finished making. So as you can see, it's a unisex hat, and depending on who you are making it for is the color that you should go for. All right, alrighty, this is the end of today's tutorial. If you know you enjoy watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, make sure to like this video. And if you've not subscribed to my channel before now, make sure to do so now. All right, and make sure you click on that tiny notification bell below so you do not miss out on any of the tutorial that I post. Okay, so if you have any questions about this project, feel free to drop it on the comment section and I'll be very happy to help you. All right, so share this video to your friends and family who wants to make a beautiful hat just like this. All right. Okay, until next time. Bye-bye.